All in black. I like that black hat.
Happy
Hi.
Sunday, friends! Look who's here!
Happy
Woo!
Sunday. Get this loaded up. There we are.
We have the wonderful and fantastic SunPsychic Jean is in the house for our first episode of Sunday Connections. And surprise, 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 making his first debut appearance on dzncats for me, Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence, is in the house.
Aww.
Yay!
Woo, 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 woo. It's a party on a Sunday afternoon. Who would have thunk it?
I'm trying to figure out how to share this, right?
So how is everybody doing in the chat? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. This is going to be fun. But everybody be kind to Kelly while she tries to operate the chat. I feel like I need an assistant. Oh, thank you, Renee. She said my hair looks wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. Remember that commercial, the Breck girl, that she would like shake her hair and like throw it back, and she would have this model hair. That's what you remind me of. Now I know what it was. The Breck girl.
It's funny that you say that, because in these squares, I was thinking of the commercial. I'll tell two friends and you tell two friends. Remember that shampoo? And it just kept doing all the little. What was that, Fabergé or something?
Yeah. Pure Visionary Psychic Mediums in the house. Hi, thanks for your support and your unconditional love. And Renee and Jan and Flowing and Anna Banana. Wow. Thanks, everybody.
Good to see you, Flowing.
Hey, Jan and Renee.
Hi, Jan. Hi, Renee. Hi, Anna Banana. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Butterfly Kisses Healing is in the house. Terry is going to be here next week on Sunday with us, so we look forward to that.
Cool.
Oh.
And so anything? Oh, I can't even keep up with the chat. Look at that already. I'm messing up. Do you guys have anything that you would like to say? Do you have anything coming up that you would like to share with people while we have their attention?
I will be on tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I guess that's 1 p.m. Pacific, with Wisdom Seeker Joan and Terry from Kigaroo Spiritual Journeys. Will be on tomorrow evening on my channel.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. Good job. What about you, Scott? You got anything going on?
I just go with the flow.
You just go with the flow?
I try to make every Sunday and every other week with mystery, and then whoever wants to join me. Like I was telling you an email and whatnot that work has been crazy.
Yes.
I mean, there's people taking vacations, so it's extra time, and it's basically 10, 11 hours a day, basically. And by the time you get up and drive and go, it's
right
13 to 14 sometimes.
It's a lot, right?
So it's a lot. So the company added more than just meat delivery. Now we're doing cheese and specialty products, anything refrigerated. Right. Milk and eggs too. It's like, oh my God. You almost need to hire another guy.
You could do the grocery shopping in your truck. I love it.
I could. Profits wouldn't go well though, but
True.
Well, I really love that little gem you dropped on us this week, Scott. And do you have like a break that you're parked on the side of the road that you do your channeling?
Yeah. Lately, if I'm hungry, I don't have enough time, so we're allowed to stop and fuel up and get something to eat. Other times I do it in the truck at a rest stop or something, when I have time. But if I eat, I don't have time. I shouldn't, spend another 30 minutes, doing a channeling. But I did that after work in my car.
Oh, I see.
But the energy of the concept of souls and everything, this energy came in like that weekend, and it was pushing me to do that. And I kept getting downloads throughout the week, kind of like preparing me. It's like, so I finally was like, I got to do this or it's not going to leave me.
Yeah.
But I
In
was
case
just so
anyone
busy.
sorry, Scott. In case anyone doesn't know what Scott's talking about, he did a wonderful channeled message on Friday. Honestly, like literally, like moved me immediately. And I sent Scott an email and just said, like, that was phenomenal, and it totally spoke to me. So I wonder if one of the mods could put a link to that specific. I mean, yeah, I've seen that you put Scott's channel in there. Thank you. But if you could put a link to that specific channeling, I would encourage everyone to go and listen to it. It was very positive, very uplifting, and it really just made my heart smile, for lack of a better way to put it. So I urge everyone to listen to it if you have a chance.
I just put it in.
Thank you, Scott.
Good.
But
So-
yeah, it's always, I mean, we always do give our information of similar sorts like that, right? How to heal, how to, what's our purpose and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And it's been on my mind, and it's just, well, it actually drove me because of, I'm not going to name who, what, where, and why, but it drove me to do it more so because I seen another video of that just irked me to the core. Like,
Right.
This is not how it is kind of feeling.
Oh,
Right. I got you.
And I seen things in the chat that were like, people were questioning their existence.
Yes.
Why are we even here then if it doesn't matter kind of feeling.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I got this energy coming in, and I'm like looking up, like, all right, what's going on? Kind of like as a time. And it just felt like I needed to put out this message because I was driven to.
Right.
And I'm not sure why, but there's always a reason. I was in a flow and getting to more. And I think it was going towards talking about your ancestors.
Right.
The energetic force that brings in our ancestors that helps us also. But then it came up as a spam or a potential spam phone call.
Right.
So it ruined the flow. So I'm like, okay, I gotta shut this off. And then the energy left. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm done.
Right.
But there's a reason, but I think I can get back there. But I was sensing that's where I was going. It had something to do with our ancestors, what kind of energy they bring through to help us, guide through our times. And it was also something about free will. I was sensing something about free will. We always talk about free will choice, But the energy I was feeling is like free will is a nonsense comment or a nonsense word.
It is.
Because we have our intuition. Our soul is being guided through many lives together to put us in the right situation to either heal with our relationships or gain other relationships. So the free will isn't technically not free will. It's our personal choice of our soul's combined energy of who we actually should meet and who we need to heal from. So free will is not really a concept. Yeah, it's a choice, but I truly believe now that it's the intuition that gives us the drive of where we need to go to heal and create the contacts.
Yeah.
People relationships.
I think people throw that term around a little too loosely. We have free will. And I often, and many people know this in the chat, they're probably sick of hearing me say it, but because I have anxiety, panic disorder, and depression, and I say it not because I'm like proud of it, but I say it because I try to take the shame and the blame out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people say, well, you choose to be positive or you choose to be negative, whenever that word choice is stuck in something, I feel triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I feel triggered is because for me personally, I did not choose to have anxiety, panic disorder. I did not choose to almost lose my home, almost lose my husband, lose my job. I did not choose any of that. I didn't choose to feel completely isolated in my home and afraid to step outside. What I did choose to do was embrace the fear. However, if you had have told me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago that I made that choice, I probably would have, well, we won't say what I would have done, but I would have done something to the person that said it to me. I would have been very, very hurt because it wasn't a conscious choice. When you're ready to move forward, all of a sudden the choices, the opportunities, the possibilities become crystal clear. But when you're literally stuck, you feel like you have no options. And so I like what you said about us being, we're being guided, right, by source and all that. And it's more about like a feeling, emotional kind of connection than it is about free will or a choice. Because I don't think a lot of us right now feel like we have a choice. We're sort of being drugged through this sort of situation, this time that we find ourselves in, right?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I see
totally feel you.
eyes looking up. What you're feeling something? Something's happening. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes and try and figure out how it would feel for me. That's all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting, when someone says to you, and I've told the story on the channel just to take that one step further. I had gone outside in the summertime, right? I was sitting out at my front porch, staring up at the moon and the stars as I like to do, and all of a sudden I started to cry. And I said, I've done this to myself. So the moment happened when I realized that I embraced the fear instead of trying to dig down into my core power and fight it. But I didn't think that I had any core power, right, to fight it. I thought what I was doing was actually being proactive. I was helping myself, right? So when you were channeling all of that message, Scott, literally what I was hearing is a couple of things. I was hearing cheers, like literally like applause and clapping and cheers, like, oh God, like we can do this. And then I heard, it's okay. Like, it's okay. No matter where you are, no matter what stage you're at, it's okay, because we're going to get through it. I just really heard we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this.
Yeah, I look back, it doesn't matter to me as long as it reaches the right person.
Yeah.
One person. Because, you look at the subscribers and whatnot, and, we bring out some beautiful messages and, what you've done. And Jean has done some wonderful messages on her channel. You don't get many views.
Yeah.
You get 1,500 views per se on a beautiful message, and then you go to someone that's doing political and gets 50,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's our soul's involvement, but it's a sad fact. But it doesn't matter. As long as I touch one person, heal one person, it's all that matters. And someone else in the chat or put a comment about they don't feel like they're reaching enough people.
Right.
And, I have this desire in my soul, to reach out and help people heal and connect to spirit and whatnot. But the message is one person at a time. Create your soul family.
Bingo.
One person at a time. You don't have to reach the masses. Every little vibrational thing helps the masses.
Absolutely. Jan says, I've always had the feeling about free will, like, sure, I choose this, not so much, but I'm coming around to understand how we attune our vibrations to bring us where we want to be. Well said, Jan.
Yep.
Well
yes,
said.
Jan. Beautiful.
Butterfly Kisses Healing says that has been my experience too, Scott. Look
hey,
at
Clarence.
Me, Pat.
But I got so many little things that really nearly didn't click before, because it's like anything. every experience is a new learning lesson through each personal reading, each connection.
Yeah.
And it, and another thing I was getting, I always,
Yeah. And I know about this, Terry, that Johnny's Apprentice put this up. I don't even know if this is an appropriate thing to mention in this particular thing, because I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm going to say. So please don't come at me. I love Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice. I think it's fantastic what he has done, what he's trying to do, like sort of creating this positivity challenge. But there are some readers that try to only promote positivity. And I am equally pleased that everyone is feeling like this is what we need to do. At the same time, it's kind of like it. I don't know how do I say this. It feels weird to me that we're celebrating something that seems pretty much obvious to me. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm thrilled that he's doing it because he has the voice, right, to sort of push that out there. But at the same time, it's like, there's a bunch of us that have been doing that for a long time. But the more the merrier, right? If that makes sense, what I just said. People are going to come for me for that comment, I'm sure. Let me back up here for 1 second. We've got Linda saying, if you reach one person, you have changed the world.
Wow.
I say that all the time, that, to the people in the chat, if you say hello to someone, you can literally change their life in the chat, right?
yeah.
Andrea says measurement and numbers is 3D. High vibrational channels get to exactly who they are being directed by spirit. Well said, Andrea. Jan Burke. Sorry, Scott, were you going to say something?
Go ahead. I'm good.
I've pretty much stopped watching the political reads. It's not where I want to be right now energetically. Yeah.
Well, I want to just share that when I do a reading for somebody and they have like an aha moment or a realization or a loved one come through that really wowed them, I feel that elation. I feel that positivity. I feel what they're feeling. And I feel the love coming from their loved ones. It's such a blessing for me and for one at a time, just like Scott said, and just like that, I don't remember who made that comment, but it's not selfish, but it's really a win-win situation that I get to help somebody and help myself too. I really do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's so empowering, and I have this clarity of what I see. I see what they're showing me on the other side. I can feel the love. They show me what heaven looks like, and I describe it. I mean, it is just mind blowing. I am such a different person, and this is the love, the positivity, the high vibrations, the new dimensional energy that's coming out. And I would love to have 50,000 followers, but I don't think I would be able to do this level for 50,000, So
Right. What do you? I missed what you said about heaven. I've never been able to go there. All I
well, they
all I would ever see is a white light portal. I know it's beautiful. Anything's there, but I've never been able to go.
they show me different images of what what they see over there, what they feel over there. And when I brought through somebody's loved one and they told me what heaven looked like, I could see a beautiful sunshine, very, very bright sunshine in a meadow, in a field of beautiful green grass and like wildflowers. But the meadow was so wide open and went on forever. And the way that the flowers and the grass was so alive and vibrant, and the sun was just so loving. It was more of an emotional kind of a feeling. It was it was really, it was just beautiful. And it changed me. I felt it. I could see it. And I was like, uh, you know, it was just beautiful. It's hard to describe, but this is what this loved one showed me how their experience was.
That's
Well, I
beautiful.
believe, like in my channeling and what, it's just like, it's pure. Anything's possible. It's all beauty. There's no negativity. It's unconditional love. And that's when our ancestors get there and our guides, they know unconditional love, and that's what they send to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I've tried numerous times, but I think it's more a perception of however you want.
Right. It's for
I
that
tried. I
individual.
tried to see my mother in heaven get there, and I was told I'm not allowed to go because I'm not in that form. So
Hmm.
I believe heaven is perception of beauty of however you want it.
Interesting.
I read their thoughts and their feelings from their soul, is what I've
Mhm.
been finding out, and they give me the feeling and the projection from their soul, and that's what I see. So that's their interpretation. A different soul may show me a bowling alley and a bar, that's
Right,
their heaven.
right.
Another soul may show me an airplane or a rocket or something, or it just it depends, but it's beautiful, all the different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think that's awesome.
when I tapped into my grandfather, he showed me he was a fisherman on Earth, mostly catch and release. He just loved fishing. And it's like I seen him on a beautiful lake, and everything's beautiful. There's no trash. There's no nothing. Just casting away. I'm fishing. You know, I'm enjoying my time.
I
Taking it
love
all in.
But
So,
was
but
the water
but
more glistening and the fish more happy and the boat like in
right.
pristine condition? Like all of that stuff is just to the nines.
Everything's perfect and pure. It's
You got it.
heavenly. It's heavenly. you know.
You got it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. There you
Wow.
go.
beautiful.
Um, so another thing I wanted to share about some revelations too.
Yep.
I kind of
I
know
just
these
want to let
things.
everyone know that we
Yeah.
are going to do some readings. So hang in with us. While we do this little bit of conversating, and then we will get to some readings in case anyone wonders what the heck's happening here. Go for it, Scott.
Well, Jan said she's loving this conversation.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. She did.
It should, but I mean, it's things I've known, but it really when you do, when you tap in like Gene does, and with a channeling, and like you were saying earlier, Kelly, when you get in that situation when you are depressed or worried or sad
Yep.
or fear,
Yep.
it's so easy to drop into that mode.
Yep.
And to bring yourself up is difficult.
Yep.
The
It is.
hard part
It
is
is an everyday challenge.
staying in that love light and unconditional love mode.
Yeah. That's
Because
very true, Scott.
things can
Because
go wrong so quickly like that.
yeah.
You're happy go lucky and you're doing great, and all of a sudden you get in a car accident.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You're in a mess.
Yeah.
My world is shot. Now I got bills.
Absolutely.
Now I got to deal with a new car. All that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you
But
have like
then you got to
past
turn it
hurts,
around in that scenario and say, it's okay. It's just a thing. I'm good.
yeah.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'll deal with this.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know what? Here, I have no experience to equate that to. I truly I don't. And so this point seems kind of silly to mention, but it's important because I know that people out there, if they suffer from what I have, I know that they feel this way. If you suffer from like a past hurt, a past trauma, shadow work that hasn't been completed, releasing that hasn't been completed, forgiveness that hasn't been forgiven, those types of things, it is so easy to slide backwards and allow those old hurts and traumas and pains and
Right.
and negativities to, you know, sort of like now they're in front of you like roadblocks, literally, that you have a tendency to slide backwards because either you're just not able to be strong enough at that point to handle it. For me personally, with anxiety, I can't concentrate. My concentration is zero and I can't focus. And so even if I was to try to do the things that I know to do to help me stay more positive, it takes me 4 times as long when I'm in that mode to actually be able to retain anything. So if I'm reading something or if I'm trying to, you know, like I literally, I have to do 7 things at once just to distract myself from the panic that I'm feeling, right? So I'm not retaining anything.
Yeah.
So getting myself out of that then becomes my focus, right? So I'm not really paying attention to the little things around me. I'm not paying attention to people. I'm not paying attention to my thoughts. The only thing I'm paying attention to is like what's my panic level today? Couple of days out, hopefully I'm okay. And then my concentration level starts to come back to a normal place where I can actually wrap my head around something. So I just wanted to mention that because it's a thing that a lot of people don't realize, that when you have a mental health disorder, it literally messes with you in a physical way. It's not just in in your head.
Definitely.
Right.
Do you have spirit advice, Gene, how to break that? I do, but I wanted to ask you first.
Well, go ahead. You got me off guard. I was empathizing, and I too. It's true for all of us in different ways. When we have everybody has their own challenges, and some
Mhm.
people it's more visible than others. And it's one step forward, 2 steps back. One step forward, and we do slip back, and we are not perfect, and things come in cycles. And it's like an onion. And every time you go around, you have to go through it again, go down deep, and then come back up again. And hopefully the next time you come back up, you're just a little bit higher, because next time when you go down, you got to bring yourself back up. It's a cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just empathizing.
So any kind of breaking of habits, cycles, what you're going through. The first thing is, as a soul being, we are pure. What we have as a body is just a facility, or how do I say it? Facade.
Yeah.
Our soul, our being is pure. What we have as a body makes it worse or physical, because that brings us down. If we aren't beautiful, we see someone that's a model, we're not, well, I'm not like that,
Yeah.
or I got a disability, or whatever. So that brings us down when we should be relaying that we are pure beings.
Yeah.
Right. So to get out of any mode, it takes time, constant effort. Like the old saying, it takes 30 days to create a habit.
Yes.
Right. If you want to quit smoking or you want to quit drinking, doing something else to create a habit.
Yeah.
So with issues of however you want to do it, focus or whatever, it's all about visualization. Visualize something pure. And the best way to visualize something pure is a wonderful time as a child.
Okay.
Because as a child, we are pure. We would go in our room and imagine playing with dolls, playing in a sandbox.
Right.
We're creating and imagining a scenario that doesn't exist. We're playing tea with our dolls or whatever it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Try to go back to a time of innocence and imagination to release what's going on. Use your vision.
I'm getting total goosebumps everywhere. Do you
Use
know
your
why?
visionary.
Totally.
That is so good. It brings us right back to our soul. We're closer
It brings
to
right
our
back to our soul, the innocence of soul, because our challenges begin when we get into those rude kids that are in teenagers,
Yeah.
or our choices of where to go as an adult,
Or the
or
programming
who
from
we
society.
or what we get from society, or who we choose to date, and that's a failure. We get in debt, that's a failure. The
I
pureness
want to tell you,
of the
Scott, that
child.
that is the best. I'm not going to swear, but that is the best darn thing that I've heard in probably 3 months. And I'm thrilled to say that I am an excellent visualization person. So I am going to do
Yeah.
that, my friend.
It's
That
the
I'm
same
like,
thing as you
wow.
said. It's the same thing as you said when you went outside. You felt
Yeah.
and absorbed the beauty of outside nature
Yeah.
and earth.
Well, I visualize all the time to transport myself when I feel panicked or when I used to have a panic attack. That is how I got myself out of it, was to visualize. So
Beautiful.
I can't believe that I just never even thought of that before. So I am so grateful that you just shared that.
Scott
Well,
is
I got a lot of great information.
I'm going to put that up. I'm going to put this up on the screen.
And I mean, my
Scott,
whole last
look
week
on the
before I
screen.
did that, it was like a constant download
Yeah.
of what I should be focusing on, what I'm supposed to say. And one more thing I got from the channeling.
Did you see that? What's on the screen there, Scott?
Yes. That's wonderful. I'm elated. One person at a time. So also going back to childhood, 90% of the time we are pure. Okay. Our DNA and our cells have memory. They have memory of perfect existence before we get sick, before we may have diabetic issues, or before we may have a bad back. That's all part of visualizations too. When we raise our vibrations and feel great, no anxieties, we keep moving up. And that's how we cure. That's how we help ourselves. When we stay up, we don't have anxieties. It doesn't go to our back. We don't have health issues. We become more healthy. Then you get these feelings of like, oh, I shouldn't be eating meat, or I shouldn't be eating McDonald's, or I should be drinking more water. You get all these senses of how you should be healthy because you're raising your vibrations and you know how you should act. But also we need to focus to create these positive aspects, the 30-day thing.
I love how simple you just broke that down.
It is, when you really think about it, it is simple.
It is simple, but it
really
sounds very scary.
Because we start off pure. We start off pure in the womb. Not everyone. There are kids with problems.
Of course.
As a whole, we start off pure. Our cells and everything, our mind, our astral travels are all pure.
Yeah.
And then we come into a world that is tainted.
Right.
And then we lose ourselves along the way.
Into the innocence of your younger self, right?
Right. Tap into the childlike memories. Visualize beauty.
It's almost like that technique that they use when you have like childhood traumas, where they have like Ron Unconditional Love has the picture of his younger self. That he
beautiful.
tells that I love it, or I love you, and kisses it and talks to it, and it sounds very similar in terms of like not the technique, but just the going back to that moment in time, taking that innocent person and trying to let them know that it's okay. So that's kind of what you're doing to yourself to raise your vibration. It is just, honestly, I feel, when someone points out something that seems so simple and you kind of feel like a bit of a doofus that I never thought of it before, but I'm like, what? Can we just stop now and I'll just do it right now? Because I'm like excited. That's so awesome.
It is a beautiful share.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Is that when I messaged you, Andrea? There was a hit and run you asked me questions about. And I seen like a woman. It felt like a Camaro. Was that the case you're talking about? And then they hit and run, and then they tried to dump the vehicle. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and that information reopened the case. Oh, yay!
Wow. That's phenomenal, Scott.
I do this all the time. Red car. Yeah, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, we don't see it on YouTube because I don't post everything. I get texts or calls constantly,
Yeah.
and I just keep putting out what I see. Yeah, she was drunk. Yeah, that's what I was getting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it ends up.
Well, I mean, it's
There was
fantastic.
another case. I got someone I read for,
Yeah.
and they were in a situation of her best friend.
Wow.
Their granddaughter was missing, or grandson was missing.
Right.
You know, they don't know what happened. There's mental issues in the family, but he was missing. You know, and she asked me for my friend, can you tell me what's going on? So she sent me a picture. I looked at him and I said, show me what happened.
Right.
I seen a bicycle. I seen a construction site. He's driving this bicycle. I seen a woods. And then I seen him looking in someone's car. And then there was a distance. So I had to interpret this whole little movie. So what ended up coming to find out, I just shared what I felt and thought. I mean, so he was looking into a car. So no one grabbed him. No one took him, right? And there was a bicycle. So what ended up happening, and I felt he was okay and things would come out, right? It would be okay. I didn't feel he was abducted. I didn't feel like he was, gone from this plane. So what ended up happening, he was having a mental breakdown. His father has issues. He was scared. He stole a bicycle, thought about committing suicide in a woods. They found that bicycle stolen in the woods. So I guess the construction site may have been where he was talking to the car. So he ended up hitchhiking. And he was 300 miles away at someone he knew. And I was getting like a online contact, some girlfriend or someone. So he went to a safe zone to talk it out, whatever. He turned off his cell phone. And 3 days later, he called, Grandma, come get me. So I had to interpret it, whatever I got. But this is what I got. And it all was true.
Wow.
So I bless what's getting on. But then ego came in too. I'm like, what is this? I have all this fear of this kid's not being alive,
Right.
And that's the tough thing of the worry, kind of like what's going on in Ukraine. You have this worry and fear and sadness when you see bodies and what's going on there and the horror and buildings destroyed and everything, So when you're doing a reading like that on possible abductions or missing kids or whatever, you had this ego fear of, am I right? Is this correct? But if I would just went with it and stayed in my truth and not egoed anything, it was 100% correct.
Hi, honey.
So those things like that are brings me down and like, thank you. It feels so loving and blessed. So I hope I could do more of that, but things come to me the way they're supposed to. I just believe that, for readings or otherwise, or connections made.
Well,
if that woman never reached out for a reading, it never went there.
Yeah.
And same with another
amount of relief that you like in that particular car accident that you were that you and Andrea were talking about. I mean, the amount of relief that you must have brought anyone who cared about the people that were involved in that.
Well, I mean, I think it's still an ongoing investigation because there was no witnesses.
But I mean, as Andrea just said, it added hope.
Yeah.
what what you channeled added hope to that situation, to that family. And I mean, honestly, that makes me want to cry, but tears of happiness for their family, because their woulda, shoulda, coulda, all those unanswered horrible pains that must have caused that family, not understanding, not knowing, never really, like the
Right.
constant like wheel would have been spinning around in their mind, saying like, what could we have done, what should we have done, all those things, all those unanswered questions. Any information that you gave them just gave them a little bit of light, a little bit of hope, and that's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
That's an
Scott
amazing way to use your
Scott
gift.
carries a very special skill set and a unique experience bank. And he has a confidence and a sense of self and a, um, a a trust with his guides that allows. I mean, he did say that he had a little bit of the doubt with the ego, but it allows him to draw on all of these strengths in order for him to bring all this together.
Yeah.
I would not be able to, only because of my empathy and feelings. I would just, I couldn't. I'm just too sensitive. But Scott has an amount of experience and life experience and knowledge and connection that he can draw on this, hold himself centered, and be able to get this clear information. It takes a very special skill set as well as experience together in order to do that effectively, like he does. And that's one thing I love about you, Scott, is that your experience is so varied and it's so rich, but it's such you've been through it. You name it, you've been through it. You know what people are talking about. You know what they're feeling. You and yet you're so humble, and you walk your talk. You emit this confidence, you emit this acceptance to everybody. You don't talk down to anybody, you don't talk about anybody. You are true and you're straight, and whatever you're thinking, you say. It's just so beautiful. It's very unique, and it's because of your combined experience and skills. And all of those years online doing all of those readings has given you the trust and the knowing to, when you talk and you say certain things, it comes through with such confidence, such conviction, that it's just very unique, it's very special. And it's important that I said that to you.
Bless
I'm
you,
your biggest
Jane.
fan.
Wow. I'm a very big fan of yours too, so it's good.
It's I rely on you, you know. I need to
Oh.
hear from you. I need to hear that everything's going to be all right from you, because I can trust it. I can feel it. I can hear it coming from where it's coming from. It's really good.
Oh, cool, Kyla.
Sorry. Didn't mean
No, it's all
to.
good. It's all
Don't
wonderful.
ever apologize for saying such a. I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
But I will
Yeah,
argue one point.
when my ego
All
came
three
in
are
with
biggest
when
fans.
my ego came in with that situation is when I started doubting what I was seeing, and then I started throwing cards to try to get confirmation, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I started seeing a magician and all this other stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, did a drug dealer take him or someone?
Yeah.
So, but the magician in that situation was him. He was the
Yeah.
creator of his destiny. He chose not to do a suicide. He decided to seek help. So I should have just trusted my vision and what I went with, but it was the way it ended up, and thank God.
I would hazard to guess. I mean, I am not in. I mean, I don't even know what the words are, but I'm nowhere in that realm of channeling any kind of message like that. But I can't imagine that it would be easy. I only know from what I do, and just pulling a card for someone, I understand the responsibility that I have to deliver the message, and I also understand the person that's asked the message and the amount of weight that they're putting on the question that was asked. Like they, whatever answer you give them could literally make a massive difference in their life, and they're waiting on that answer. And so I can't imagine how difficult it must be for each message that you channel to be able to, sort of push those doubts aside and not allow yourself to doubt yourself, and just, be free and open to say what the message is that you're getting, especially when it comes to topics like a car accident or something of that nature. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
at times I will see a car accident, but you'll be okay.
Yeah.
This is like a wake up call. This is part of the journey. Not all the time, they don't show you everything.
The courage that it takes for you to do those mysteries. I don't know if you do them weekly or every other week, but you were doing them quite regularly. And it was just a unknown topic that for years and sometimes centuries, it's been a mystery. And you attack it head on, and you come up with these things, and you validate it, and you come up with a theory. And that is like working that muscle so that when things come to you in real life, that's a mystery. He has that kind of a muscle, that kind of a practice, the knowing. He knows when to trust and what to look for. And it's just, it's so valuable. And it's all that experience and all of that opportunity. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. It even helps with like dark things, because there are dark entities out there. Like another reading I got just through email. I talked about it on Katie's channel a few weeks ago. But this couple believes they brought something back from a graveyard.
Oh.
And in their home, there was huge anxiety. And I was asked about this. So the dark side doesn't scare me. Thoughts of the devil or spirits, they don't scare me. It flows, and I kind of know where to go. And I was told, you cannot get rid of this thing. Since you caught it early, get out. It's the only thing that's going to work. They were able to get out of the apartment, and everything's been fine. Wow. It was a mistake that they went to the graveyard, but it was a choice. But the weird thing is, before I even opened up that email, I started seeing this dark entity.
Wow.
And I knew before I even opened it up. I seen it was from Maryland.
Oh, you're freaking me out.
And all of a sudden I started seeing this thing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this thing cannot be dealt with. I was getting an exorcism, wouldn't work. Nothing. You got to send it back. You just got to leave. And I said, well, here's the test. You're going away for Christmas, the family. If you feel good that whole time, no anxieties, you're not fighting, you can't sleep. They were having horrible nightmares when this thing was around. This thing is, like pure evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everything was fine. And they were able to get out of the lease and get out. And everything's been fine since. Thank God.
Right.
But I wasn't afraid, but I just seen it. I'm like, oh my God. It looked very much like that thing I see at Skinwalker Ranch.
Wow.
It looked very similar to that thing. But yeah, the thing at Skinwalker is horrible.
That's a really good point, Kylo. Belief is powerful, though. You can manifest your thoughts if you believe in them strong enough.
Yeah. The power of positive thinking.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. You can make things happen for yourself.
Yep.
So,
we have our first question. We have our first question. This is from Juno. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen here because it's not really, it is a channeling question, but it's not your typical channeling question. So this will be a warm-up, I guess, for Juno.
New battery starter tested fine, nothing. But not. Unfortunately, it upsets me. I'm very good at mechanical stuff and fixing myself. My guides are always off on that. I mean, I can fix pretty much everything. But when I try to ask, what is it? They won't tell me right away what's wrong. It's frustrating. But maybe for someone else, it'll work. For myself, it's kind of like I got to figure it out logically through trial and error.
Yeah. So
Because it would be so nice if I just look at my car and say, what part do I need? Because I had an issue quickly. I had an issue with another vehicle, and I believed it wasn't a cylinder problem. I believed it was like a sensor or something. So I kept trying different things. Well, here, come to find out, I needed the cylinder redone.
Yeah.
Right. I really wish the guys would have told me it was a cylinder issue. But I'm sure it was an experience I needed to go through to learn something. That maybe it isn't always, a part. It could be major.
Juno, what did your pendulum say, Juno, when you asked your pendulum?
My car problem is something major. Needed a tune-up. Got a new battery. Starter tested.
So I'm going to go totally logical and not spiritual here because I happen to know a thing or two about cars. So Juno, my first, sorry. Who would have thunk it? We could have all things happening here at the same time. Juno, are your lights working in the car? Your radio works. Your windshield wipers are working. If all of those things are working, then it is not a battery problem. You said that you just got a new battery. I would dare say, depending on how long ago you just got the new battery. Okay, so if your lights and your radio are working, then it's not the battery. There's no loose connections. When you go to start it, does it chug? Or does it literally act as if the battery is dead? Because if it acts as if the battery is dead, Anna Banana suggested that it was the alternator, and I would think that it might be the alternator. Oh, you just got the battery this morning?
No. If it's the alternator, everything would go dead. Your lights would go dead. Your radio won't work. I think it's a minor issue. I'm going with Keith here with Geek Hillbilly. It's a tune-up issue.
Right.
It feels like injectors, or it's something with the wires that connects to the motor. I think the motor's okay. It's not anything like that. It's not. I think it's a tune-up issue. I don't think it's the spark plugs. It feels above the spark plugs. But replacing one thing, no, it's not a solenoid. I think it's, so you got spark plugs, you got a coil, and then you got the wires.
Right.
I'm thinking coil. Then you also got injectors too, but Subaru Outback 80,000, that ain't much. But with 80,000 to 100,000, that's when everything has to be redone. No, not a fuel filter. I think it's part of the injectors, wires, coil, everything up there.
There used to be a radio show called The Car Guys, and we loved it. And they were like really funny, but they would answer serious questions like this. It's so funny. I feel like Car Guys.
My husband has the whole car club thing, right? So here's what I'm going to tell you to do, Juno. I mean, Gene and Scott can try and channel it if they feel like they can, but I would suggest that you take it to the dealership, ask them to hook up the computer to it. It's a little pack. It's about yay big. Yeah. They'll hook it up and stick it on, and they'll run a few tests on it, and it'll come back. And it'll throw a code, and it'll tell you what's wrong. Like my husband's truck, for example, will not run if one of the sensors are off on his tires in the wintertime.
Wow.
Mine just blink. Those sensors are annoying.
They are. So
I just leave the light on. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not
so we
paying
actually have the machine where we just like plug it in, and so like here at home, like we have one.
Yeah, I got one too. $30. I got $35. Plug it in. It reads what code is up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can reset it or whatever. So here's the one thing that I would say to you, right? Number one, look it up on
Yeah.
Google.
Do not.
Put in the kind of car that you have and see if there's any kind of issues in it. And the second thing I would do is I would call the dealership and make an appointment, because that's where you need to take it.
So a little thing what happened to me.
Oh, there's my husband in the chat, Mr.
I had
McKinney.
I had an oil leak.
Right?
My power steering line busted.
Whoa.
I took it into my buddy. Do not go to a dealership if you don't have to. I had repairs done in my buddy's shop, not a dealership, like $400.
Right.
My Nancy had an issue with her car. She had it towed to where she bought it. It should have cost like $400. It cost over $1,000.
Wow.
I could have done it myself for maybe $200, but it was winter. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
But anyway, I took the car to my buddy to get this line fixed. He drove it. Everything looks good. Before I had to go pick it up, it started spitting and sputtering and acting weird. Okay. It sounds like that. So what he ended up finding out, it was a coil pack. It wasn't sending the sensors into one cylinder properly. But he had to rip out everything so that while he's back there, he replaced everything.
Oh.
Right.
You know, the wires, you know, the plugs and everything, because it takes like 2-3 hours to rip out everything.
Yeah.
Right. So like, while you're back there, put all the good stuff in there. Runs like a dream now.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty, and so I'm seeing your car, and I'm like, show me where it is. Show me the motor. I'm seeing white light, right? Show me above. I'm seeing negativity above. So that's where I feel like it's a coil pack. You know, I don't think it's spark plugs, because I'm showing above the motor. Spark plugs would be screwed into the motor.
Right.
So I think it's the coil packs that connect to the spark plugs. I think they need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Let us know, Juno. That's exciting.
I mean, you know, that's just cool.
That's a new show, Scott. You'll have so many people.
Yeah, I think I can do it for other people, but myself, I'm always wrong until I learn, I think. When I got my truck.
Okay. I have to put this on the screen. I got to put this on the screen. This freaking amazing to me. I'm listening to psychic and mediums and card readers fixing my nails. What a hoot.
It is. It
Aww.
is. It's a.
Aw, Juno.
That's right.
It's not major. I mean, if I could get at things, like I used to have a Toyota Celica. That thing was so easy to work on. So it had like almost 200,000 miles on it. So like annually, you can guarantee I'm gonna have to replace a coil pack from moisture and whatnot. I could do it in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Because everything was easy. But when you got a Cadillac or new vehicles, you got to rip out half the motor to get it anything.
Exactly.
That's the horrible thing. But if you can't, you know, find someone close that's not a dealership, you can save a lot of money.
We're all about the dealerships here.
I used to drive a Toyota Supra with the hatchback. When you said Toyota Celica, I thought of my first car. One of my first
I love
cars.
that thing. In the summer, I could get like 40 some miles a gallon.
In the winter, my husband's going to come running in here and want to tell us stories about his Camaro. He bought a 2010. No, seriously, he bought a 2010 Camaro, and had to make the emergency drive to my dad's house, which is 6.5 hours from our house. Went from our house to my dad's house, and halfway home on one tank of fuel in 2010 Camaro.
Wow.
And he got me there in 4 hours, but we won't.
Are Aren't they 8-cylinder cars? Or is that
that one was the 6-cylinder.
Okay.
Yeah, they made Camaros and all. They had 4, 6, and 8, depending on what you want for mileage.
Yeah. With 400 horsepower. There he goes. 7. Anyways, okay. So we have another question here. This is Pierrette's question. I'm going to pop it up on the screen there. I've got certified for animal communications and in art therapy. Is my sister pointing me to work with grieving people that lost their pets because I didn't know why I was to take the courses? Interesting question.
So your sister's passed? You're talking about guidance from above? Most likely here?
Mm-hmm.
Animal communications and art therapy. It's really strange. I'm leaning more towards art. It may be a combined thing of drawing, but something about art therapy more so.
I think she's asking, is she asking which one, or is she asking if it was her sister? I think she said she was certified for both.
Yes.
And she just wants to know if it was her sister who is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't know why she took the courses either, but.
I did get something right away, Pierrette, just that it was your higher self. And so it was guidance, but it was your own guidance. It's your soul, your higher self and your soul leading you. You're listening to your guidance. And because your sister is on the other side, or as we assume she is, and you receive guidance and messages from her, it probably feels like it's coming from the same place. And it could have been a combined effort. But what the first thing that I got was that it was your higher self guiding you.
Yeah, you make the decision. You can get a push, but ultimately you make the decision for yourself and your higher guidance now. But some reason I'm not sensing it's a animal connection. It's okay. Now I just got the reference. You know the movie 50 First Dates?
Mm.
With the art therapy in that? Mm. There was art therapy. When what's her name? Drew Barrymore lost her memory. And she ended up going to the school because she's really into the arts and people who are challenged. She was teaching them art, to try to focus their minds because they had brain issues and whatnot. This is what I'm saying. Some kind of art therapy within a home or something like that. They're showing me that movie, 50 First Dates, of Drew Barrymore helping people with art therapy. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting a animal connection for some reason, but it's all in the grand scheme of things because these people could have issues or memories of animals they can incorporate into their art. Because I also see art being drawn on with animals, but animal, channel or that kind of thing. I'm not seeing that. It's more. I'm showing more towards art.
And Pierrette, I think that, the way the energies are moving at this time, that we try and put things in a box, and there's no more boxes. There's no more bars. There's no more barriers or borders. Anybody can do anything for any reason and combine any talent. So you may be in art therapy and a pet may come up, or you may be doing pet readings and art therapy may come up. It's not either or. It's not which one. It's not why. It's that it's opening you up to guidance. It's opening you up to empathy and and helping people. I mean, and maybe you can begin something new. It doesn't have to fit into a box.
That's really interesting, Jean. I pulled some Kipper cards just to see what I could get. And what I got, interestingly, was thoughts. So sort of, what you were both saying about this was her guiding herself, right? Listening to her own intuition around herself. I did get sudden wealth, and I also got unexpected income. So, and those are both in the present. So you're going to be able to make quite a nice living at whatever choice you make. And towards the pets or the art, if you feel like it's an either or thing, I agree with what Jean just said, because I got the community card. And so to me, that feels like these two things are going to bring something together for you to make, like, work for yourself. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense, like you can never have enough tools in your toolbox kind of idea.
So I tossed some cards too, and I got additional info here. So you're talking about art therapy. This feels like a master of all skills. Like Kelly was saying, I got the magician. The master of all skills, combining everything within the universe. And then I got the artistic, the Queen of Pentacles. I got the artistic woman.
Yeah.
10 of Swords. What I'm getting from that is putting the focus into art, relaying different focus from loss. So if you're in therapy, you're having issues with something, just like a different visualization. And you can combine many different things into that therapy. The right scenario, wherever you're going to go, but you can tell whoever you're trying to help with art therapy about whatever your fears are, draw it. Release it, right? Release it through the art. It can be a loss of a pet. It can be a loss of a mom or a son or whatever. But that 10 of Swords is like the grief part, hitting rock bottom and how to get out. Use the artist, magician, any way you can. Tap into everything. And I also got the World, which is like the inner voice, culmination, success, creating fulfillment with that therapy.
Beautiful.
It's crazy. Thank you, Banana.
That was very cool.
Did you see her comment, Kelly, at 3:40?
At 3:40. Thank you. I was going to combine them.
You're spot on again, Scott.
I hope so. I like to be right. Well, interpret correctly. We can't interpret incorrectly if we let our ego get involved, but when we stay high vibrating, you should be concentrating pretty much on target.
Did Scott want to say anything about his new card deck, or do you want to wait and do your reveal on your own channel?
Yeah, if you're interested, they won't be here. I ordered some because when you order on the website, it's more expensive. And plus the one site I had is like, I ordered some from there. I tried to cancel and they only gave me store credit. So I might as well let it flow. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I reordered. It's not going to be till July from the one I originally did. So I went to another site that Debbie uses, and luckily I just copied and pasted. It was like a half an hour. It took longer to set it up through the psychic mechanic. Yeah, I'm better for others than I am for myself. That's for sure. I guess it's kind of the same thing. You know, you can't read for yourself very well. It's probably the same thing. But even though when I was farming, I used it often, and it was very helpful.
Wow.
Because we'd have every 2 weeks I'd had the veterinary come and check the cows for pregnancy and whatnot. So while we're doing this the whole time, I'm testing pregnant or not pregnant, pregnant or not pregnant. What's the diagnosis? You know.
Yeah.
So I was always practicing, and it was like 89% correct. But like,
that's right about my average.
But then I'd use it for different things around the farm, like, you know, the blue harvesters. You ever seen them that fill silo harvesters? You know, you put feed in. So you'd have to climb way up there, you know, to either unplug it or, you know, if it gets too full, then it just folds over and you gotta be careful. So I'd use it, right? I know it was getting close, right? So I go out to chop hay and fill it up. And I asked the guides, how many loads can I put in this before it plugs up? It worked every time.
Wow.
I didn't have to climb up there. And like I said, I'd get like 4.5 loads today. All right. I go chop 4.5 loads, fill it. I go up there and it's like that far from the top. So I used it for that and different kinds of repairs, what it needed to be done and whatnot. But so I was always testing myself and, you know, and tapping in. And so that was helpful.
That's something I didn't know about you. I didn't realize you were a psychic when you were a farmer. I thought it came afterward. Wow.
We quit. Well, my awakening came in 2003. Yeah, 2003. So then we quit farming in 2011.
Oh, I see.
Mainly using it around the farm for friends, you know, helping friends. And I got connected with other psychic readers that I met through that psychic site Keen. You can be a reader on Keen, but it's kind of a pain. They take a lot of money and you're on call. It's kind of weird, but there's a lot of readers on there. So that's, you know, I never branched out professionally. I did try for a few months to be a reader on Keen, but there's so many was, you know, 20,000, you know, it's kind of like you jumping in and then you have Linda G here with all 50,000 and you're like a one reader person. No one's going to really go to you, you know, when you have no reviews,
right.
No, all they want is, you know, like free 3-minute readings. So
I heard something pretty interesting recently. James Van Prague said that a lot of people have their awakening after going through either a severe trauma, a car accident, a fall where they hit their head, or a sickness, illness. And yeah.
And mine came through releasing my divorce. It's where I got depressed. People were telling me, well, you're not the same person you used to. I'm like, what are you talking about? I can just tell you're not as happy. You're not telling jokes anymore. I'm like, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. But I was severely depressed and didn't even know it.
Wow.
You know, I was disconnected. I went and talked to people, you know, and finally I gave it to God. The next morning I knew everything.
Wow.
It was literally the next morning. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened here? I'm like, why do I know this stuff? Why do I know Jesus and God is real? You know, everything.
Right.
The universe. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool. You know, then I go up my day and then I start hearing, no, that's not correct. You know, just going to my daily, I start knowing things. It's like, wow.
May I ask a question, Scott?
Yeah.
And you too, Gene. When you first started to realize that what, you know, I'm not sure how you receive messages, but like either, you know, someone's talking in your ear or you're seeing images or whatever the case may be, were you afraid of it? I mean, once you realized what it was, were you afraid of it? Were you ever not afraid of the information, but afraid of the gift? Like,
No.
what it could do, or how it could like overtake you if you didn't know how to deal with it in the proper way, if that makes sense.
You want to go or I'll go?
Yeah, mine was just a knowing, and it was a reassuring knowing, and there was maybe it was naive, but had no fear at all. No, it was wow. It was a wow, and it had like a vibration to it that was wow.
Yeah. It's like this overwhelming sense of calm and peace came over me, and it's like I'm not depressed anymore. I gave it to God.
Very good.
I finally just sat down one night. I cried. I'm like, okay, if I'm supposed to be divorced, I don't want to be like this. I want to be there for my kids. I forgive myself. I forgive my ex. I forgive everything I did. I went to sleep and woke up the next morning with this overwhelming feeling of peace and joy.
It's amazing.
And messages there. It's like something opened up.
Yeah.
But what
Truly a blessing, a miracle.
Yeah, it is. And I had no fear. I embraced it. The only fear I ever have is what others will think.
Oh,
Right.
My father, my siblings,
Right.
friends that I've known for 30 years, whatever,
Right.
I shouted it from the rooftop. I don't care what people think.
I know. That's the only fear, because I know a lot of people, because I'm like a softball hero in this area.
Right.
I know everyone in the softball community. I have
Right.
thousands and thousands of friends that know me from there. And I'm considered one of the best softball pitchers, unlimited arc, in the area ever.
Right.
When you consider fielding, pitching, hitting, I'm a very good athlete. So that's my only fear, is like if I would, that insecurity of like, can I trust this person with my knowledge?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I know going up to the stranger is no issue, because they're already seeking knowledge and
Yes.
help,
Right.
Yeah.
But from the people you care about and been
Yeah.
dealing with forever, where they think you're a weirdo because they may not believe.
100%.
That's my only fear.
Yeah, I didn't have a reputation before I I didn't have a reputation to lose, in other words. I could only go up.
Right. Right.
But when I told my
There's two
friend,
reasons why I asked that. One is because I quite often see people saying things in the chat when it comes to these types of conversations about, I'm just sort of developing my gifts and not necessarily fearful, but like intimidated by it, a little like, oh, I don't know if I want to embrace that, or how do I embrace it? That's why I asked.
oh, totally embrace it. If you totally embrace it in love, light, and abundance, you'll feel so much better.
It's the way of the future, too. More and more people will be using their intuition on an everyday
Definitely.
basis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'll help everyone as a whole. That's how this ascension's working.
And were you ever, I use the word freaked out, but I mean it in a good way. That feeling when, like you go on a roller coaster and you're totally scared, but you can't wait at the same time. It's like that weird kind of adrenaline, kind of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, but a good one. Like, and the reason why I see it is I pull the cards, right? And everyone in this chat, well, mostly everyone here knows that I spent 3 months saying, I don't understand how this is happening. I'm not a reader. It's a coincidence. It's, whatever. And now I'm okay, you are connected clearly because you're pulling cards that are matching up with what people are saying. And so like, you need to own it. Okay. So now I own it. I've had a couple of visions. I was a little taken aback by them. In full disclosure, one happened at 3 a.m. on the potty when I was like, one eye open. So I was kind of like, what's happening here? I'm not ready for this. So
I think you were in like mid dream then, since you were still half in, half out. So you're awake and conscious, so you're getting it. Yeah.
You know what? It was literally like I got a picture of the death card, like just like the tarot card, just boom, right in my. I was sitting on the toilet and I was like, okay, what is happening? So there was no other thoughts before or after. It was just that.
Well, it is mind blowing, and it does.
it takes a hot minute to kind of go, okay, hold on. And Scott, I actually have something to share with you. Not
Go
that
for
you live and breathe on the edge of everything that I say, but I had joined you. I mean, seriously, right? I had joined your chat one day during the Christmas holidays, and you had that show with Mark, Spirit Whisperer, I think.
Oh,
Mark, right?
yeah.
And Sheila and Kevin's Loving Vibrations. You were doing the show on the pets.
Pets, yeah.
And I showed up and clearly did not see the title because I asked a question about myself. I did. Because I was being told that I was missing the signs that were being given to me, but I don't know how to get the signs. And
Right.
you sat and talked to me for like 10 minutes and told me what you thought, grounding, and some more grounding. And 2 or 3 nights after I talked to you, or you talked to me on that show, I was sitting in my computer chair watching YouTube as one does, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, now I don't know if it was a vision or if it was a dream, but I literally seen a square piece of green grass with a pair of red shoes on it. Right? And I was like, that's weird. And a couple of days later, I found out that my ex-husband died. And when my ex-husband died, I was like, I don't want to panic, so I'm going to jump online because that's exactly what you should do. So, I mean, you couldn't. So I went live, and all the people came into the chat, and I said that this, and as I'm talking about, how I'm feeling, what I just learned about my ex-husband and all this kind of jazz, I say, oh my God, you guys. And I had that thing, and they're like, Kelly, that's like grounding. That's shoes on the earth. I'm like, oh
Wow.
my God, Scott was right. It was a message to be grounded because something was happening.
That's amazing. I mean, I swear, I've gotten confirmation numerous times, but I do work after a reading at night.
Yeah.
Whether they see me in their dreams of healing or whatever. Kind of funny story here lately. I had a personal reading, and I talked to this person, and they're having an issue with another coworker kind of thing. And she has her own business, and this guy really is bugging her to buy in. And I'm getting the message, no, this is your process, this is your business. It would be a mistake to buy in the long run. And she's like, well, this guy just won't let up. I'm like, well, you got to be forward, whatever. But after I got on and talked to her, it's still in my mind, right? So I think I must have been going to his spirit guides or whatever and saying, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. The next day, the guy called her and said, it's kind of dumb for me to buy in like that. I'm just going to subcontract with you. And she never had a conversation with him.
Wow.
And so I'm like talking to her and like, no, this is not for you. Stay the course. This is your program. This guy should not be buying in. You regret it. And without even contacting, the next day he calls her and says, it's not a good idea. I think I just have to subcontract you. Doesn't make any sense. And I swear,
That's amazing.
And another person told me too after a reading, it's like she needed some deep healing from past trauma and whatnot. And she goes, I felt you for 2 days. I swear, I felt you for 2 days healing my soul. I'm like, no wonder why I'm waking up so tired all the time. I'm doing work on the spirit side.
You're working through the night.
This
is interesting. So Mama Bear says, last night I had a dream I was pregnant and didn't know until the baby started coming out.
We need Allie.
Right. I wonder if that means anything.
Didn't know that. So you had a dream. You didn't even know you were pregnant, but the baby was coming.
Yeah. Oh. I was just going to say that you woke up just in time.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not great.
Okay. So it obviously has to do with something with pregnancy. I'm sensing it has to do with a loss of a pregnancy, like a miscarriage or something like that. Or maybe you don't even know about it. So I think it's the soul that is part of you that might be around. Because if you're not pregnant, so it's either that or it's pre-showing that you might be pregnant and don't know it. One of the two. Let's see what the cards have to say.
I think it's about being safe, like trying to stay safe inside herself. You know what I mean? Like the big bad world, right? Something like some kind of I don't want to say fear, but something along those lines. Like feeling isolated or not wanting to go out or something like that, maybe.
I'm getting that you're letting the cat out of the bag, almost like you're revealing something that's unknown. That
Oh,
it's like something is either being revealed that was hidden.
okay. I think you're on the right track. I think it was my ego just looking at it. I threw some cards. I think Gene's right. I don't think it has anything to do with a pregnancy. Some kind of failure is going to reveal itself.
Well, it's really interesting that you just said that, Scott, because the card I pulled was Wolf, which is heart medicine. And the message on that card reads, "Let go of that which which does not serve your highest good." So you're releasing something.
Right. So a pregnancy would relate to like the Empress card. That's creation, fertility, all within. Something you didn't know, like a baby, is something coming to birth. Right? So I think it goes that way, not an actual pregnancy. So the cards that dropped out for me has something to do with a father figure, the King of Cups, and then we have burdens. Some issues coming to light, and it has to do with a failure with the devil, the moon, unknown secrets coming to light. But it's going to be okay because it's going to balance you. Take it in stride, whatever comes out, whatever comes up, because this is the balancing card, balancing your chakras, balancing life, closure. I'm getting closure. Whatever this is coming out, it's going to bring closure to you. Better creations and the sword of truth. This was first, actually, that way. The way I see it, anyway. Putting all things in perspective with the Eight of Pentacles, sword of truth, closure. With the like I said, the moral of the story that starts out is something to do with a male father type figure. That was the first start, and everything is like things coming to light and bringing balance into life. We're going through stuff, looking through no home.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through, whatever you're trying to deal with,
That's the other card. That's the other card that I pulled. This is from my color cards. I find them really good for energy. So this is brown, established boundaries.
So if you're looking through a new home,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Kelly, you done?
No. I was just going to say, when I see this card, because of the earth, even though it says established boundaries, it always makes me think of, just going out there and literally putting your hands in it or your feet in it and just sort of allowing yourself to get that energy from like grounding yourself, getting that energy from the earth. I have no idea why I pulled that card because it really didn't have anything to do with what we were talking about, but I literally picked it up and then I put it down because Scott was like going somewhere with the message. And I was like, and then when you said that, I was like, wait a minute. Maybe that would be helpful. I don't know why.
You're hit, just bring it through. Says she's looking for a new home.
Yeah.
Well, when you're ever trying to deal with something in life, stay positive about it, manifest it, put this new home in your mind. It always helps. But when a King of Cups comes through, it has to do with the King of Cups is always the father figure. It can be a leader, but it's someone in your life that's male.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's spirit coming through, because if it was spirit, it would be like the star, the high priestess, the hierophant. The Knight of Cups is a high spirit card for me. But the King of Cups always represents father type figure.
Right.
But it was next to the Ten of Swords, so like Heather just threw the King of Swords.
Yeah.
Like it may be someone that was an issue with you because it was next to.
Right.
I always relation how they drop. It's like if the King of Cups and then some good cards of creation were next to it, oh, everything's perfect.
Yes.
But I had the King of Cups right next to the Ten of Swords. So there's an issue to do with a high authority figure, but someone of love, or you had issues with, a connection with, coming to light.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
Scott,
everything's gonna.
can
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
ask you a quick question? Do you how can you tell if this is personal or global? Like, is she picking that up for the collective consciousness of the US or something? Or is this personal? Is it something you can tell from your cards? Because I can't
No,
always tell.
I just, well, I feel this is personal.
Okay.
There's times, like when you're doing political readings or whatnot, because like if someone puts a question up there, I only focus on them,
Okay.
right? But even with political, there's just times I look at it where everything's laid out and I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
This doesn't relate to the question.
Yeah.
I'll just know it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is telling me something else, not related to this question. Like, this is going to happen. It has nothing to do with that person, but it's related, but it goes here.
Yeah.
I just bring out whatever I feel. I'm not, not
Okay.
going to wash whatever, but this one feels like it was personal.
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It's like the knowing. You kind of get that little feeling inside yourself, like, this is weird, know? So you go with your senses, go with what you're feeling. And like you said before, I don't hear voices. It's kind of like a ticker tape for words in my mind. So you just kind of like read the words.
Yeah.
Or like before, they'll show me a movie or they'll show me a song, put that in my mind, so I got to kind of read the ticker tape. And,
that's a really
like a
interesting
memory,
question.
like a memory's put there,
Yeah. That's a really cool question that you just asked, Gene, because I don't have a ticker tape or anything like that. And I'll be honest, I think that the forming of the question, so meaning, so she asked the question, or he asked the question, whatever the case may be, when a question is asked, the question that I asked the cards is what's going to determine the answer. So if I don't form the question in the right way, I may get an answer like
definitely
all over the place. Do you know what I mean?
I totally believe you got to be direct.
Yeah, it's important how
Sometimes spirit will bring in a different answer. Let's say someone's asking about a boyfriend. Well, why isn't he calling me? Whatever.
Yeah.
You throw out the cards and it's like, you'll see that he don't care about you or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you have a job opportunity coming up. Don't focus on this. You need to,
Yeah.
You just read how it plays out.
Yeah.
And it may take you in a different direction.
Yeah.
Don't analyze, the proper question. Expand your mind because it may be telling you something else.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it is really interesting with the cards, to the point that Scott made. There are times, and I mean, I've watched Scott do this. I've watched other readers do it where they put the cards down and they're like, my cards don't make any sense. And I thought to myself, well, how the hell do you know that they don't make any sense? Because the cards are the ones who are giving you the answer, right? I do it too. I have said umpteen times, I put the cards down and go like, And I don't know how I know it doesn't make any sense, but it just literally doesn't. It doesn't jive, and I know it's not right. So I will either pick up a new deck, or I'll go to different cards and try to, because I know it doesn't make sense. It's not right.
Yeah.
Which
But the
means
funny
Mama
thing
Bear,
is,
answered
go
the
ahead,
Mama
question.
Dean.
Bear, please follow up with us and let us know what happens, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
half the battle, is not knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know if an ET shows itself. I want to know if you are
Yeah.
pregnant. I want to know
Yeah.
if you won the lottery, or what happened.
Yeah.
What was this
Yeah.
stream all about? I do believe you'll find out soon.
Yeah. If your dad or brother comes to some quote Jesus moment and opens
Wow.
up about something, that kind of thing, let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, Kelly, I've had that before where
Yeah.
I laid out the cards and like, this makes no sense. I grab another deck and it's like
Yeah.
80% the same thing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, this is the message. I got to figure it out.
Yeah. 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 I don't even, and I haven't been doing this long enough to know why it does that or why it doesn't do that, in terms of why I know that it's right or why I know it's not right. I just do.
It's your
And
senses.
I don't question it. I do
Right.
whatever I feel. If that makes
Follow
sense.
your senses and how you feel. It's like I said, I see something and I get this anxiety. It's spirit telling you, your guides are putting that in you for a reason.
This
Whether
is
you
turning
feel
much
joy,
into
or you feel sad, or you feel anxiety, or just make sure you're using your senses. It's like with anyone. If you're worried about something, you got a job interview, you'll know through your senses.
Yeah,
It's
Anna
your
Banana
guides, your
constantly
ancestors
saying this to me.
bringing it in.
Sorry, I interrupted you and I didn't mean to. Anna Banana is constantly telling me that, like, you are connected, Kelly. You must believe you are connected. And I'm like, yes, okay.
We are connected. Whether we know it or not, we are connected.
Yeah. Do you know what I think is really interesting, though, about what we were just talking about? So I'm sure that this will help other people too, in terms of trusting the connection and trusting the messages that you're getting, right? So have you two ever had the experience where, so we just covered you just know that it's not right, right? Your senses are telling you something about the card spread is not right. Do you ever get the information and say, like, no to it? I don't really know how to articulate that question, but do you ever get information that you're like, what, like, I don't, not that you don't understand it or not that you don't know what it means, but have you ever gotten information and went like, I don't, like, I can't do what you're telling me to do?
Typically with me, it's because it's a cliche. Like if they say, don't sweat the small stuff. And I'm like, oh, come on, can you give me something else? But they're telling me, don't sweat the small stuff. That's what they want me to say. But
Okay.
so many people say it. They say it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then they say it. I'm like, okay. Like it's sort of like an insistence. But you kind of like doubt it. Oh, you heard my duck story on there.
Yeah.
That I saw a woman and she asked me a question about the next 6 months or the next year. How's it going to go? And I said, well, they're showing me a duck and it's like a mama duck and the baby ducks are following and they're getting into the water and you're not the mama duck. You're like the second or third duck. And the ducks are all in a line. And I'm like, your ducks in a row. You have all your ducks in a row. I had no idea what spirit was telling
Right.
me. But
Gotcha.
now whenever they show me a duck, I know what it means.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. And by
So
the way, Jean, my mom used to say, don't sweat the small stuff all the time.
See?
Yeah.
And
That's the best way.
But you don't know more than, yeah.
In the end of the day, it's all small stuff.
It is.
It is.
Unless you're going through foreclosure or something like that, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's another message I got from that channeling. We don't know what another soul is going through. From their hundreds of lives, they're trying to evaluate their current life. We will never know what another soul is going through. We can't feel it that way. We may feel sad, we may feel anxiety, but we don't know what a soul goes through. I was just getting home from an interesting weekend. Art at a gallery. It was a fiasco. Sign. You know the old saying that Michael Jordan, the basketball player, would always say? He always wanted to go for it. But he had to practice. I take 1,000,000 shots and I may miss the big one, but I'm going to continue making 1,000,000 shots till I perfect it. Right? He's a perfectionist, but he had to keep working at it, and he'd go and practice. But in the end, he wanted to take the shot. He wanted to take the final shot because it was in his soul, right? It's a sign to keep going. Just because you fail, continue. So that's what I'm getting from that. I'm like, hurdle? There's no hurdle. It's like we quit. The only hurdle is quitting.
Wow.
I'm seeing it as a sign to go to the next. It's just another failure. You missed the shot. Go to the next. You have a skill with art.
I'll say.
Continue.
Holy jeepers creepers. I got the star card, which is all about hope. I got the Queen of Cups, which is all about your love for what you're doing, right? And then I got the Emperor, like totally standing in your power, owning it. I love that. And I got the Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which is just speaking again to your creativity and the inspiration of this show that you just did.
There you go.
So I'm sorry that it was a fiasco for you, my friend, but shine on. I'll show you my little thing on my positivity board because I really, really like it. Show the world your sparkle, Jan. The world deserves to see it, and you deserve for the world to see it. So shine on, my friend. Do not give up.
Yeah, so we ended up quitting farming in 2011, and I had kept trying to find a new job. I couldn't find nothing because who wants to hire a guy that only knows about farming? And I was in the Air Force for 4 years. So I finally got an invite and interview to be a manager at an oil change place. So I know mechanics and whatnot. So it was, 6 weeks or so I was employed there. And I found out the company was grifting from people. They weren't charging for services or they'd overcharge them. They weren't honest. So I was going to report it. The next day I was fired.
Oh,
wow.
They found out. The boss found out that I was going to report it to headquarters, even though headquarters didn't do anything because I filed a grievance. It got washed away, right? I couldn't fight the big dog, right? But I stood in my truth, and I felt it was dishonest, and I got fired for it. But it's the spirit telling me this is not a good company you want to work for. And if you ever get a recommendation for oil changes, don't send them there.
Right.
It was a good experience. That the man, it's tough to fight the man. So if I get a reading of someone wanting to fight, I'll have that experience like, well, you can't fight when you're a little guy. You may just want to give up and not spend your life savings trying to go through court and fight. That kind of feeling.
Yep.
So then it was an experience, but it led me down to a path to a different job, something better. That didn't work out. Another experience. That didn't work out. Another experience, But I think it was just spirit because I stood in my truth because I felt it was wrong. Like, a lady came in with an overheated car. They couldn't figure out the problem with transferring the antifreeze because the setting was wrong, which I tried to tell them. He told me to get away. So they just put the cap back on, billed her $110, and said you're fine. When they didn't do a thing. And this lady had no clue. He had an old car. Was worried about her car blowing up. They didn't do a thing. Send her out the door. I'm like, this is wrong. You don't do this to people. Well, I got shut down, so that was my tower moment experience. I got fired, walked in and got fired.
Wow.
They made the excuse that I was using my cell phone.
Right.
And I was 5 minutes late that day because of traffic. So they fired me because I looked at my cell phone once. I wore the wrong hat one day accidentally. I switched after I was told. And then that I was 5 minutes late. You're not following company procedures, you're gone. When the next day I said I was going to report it to a manager who probably told the district manager who had me fired because he was a suck up and wanted to keep his job.
Wow.
So I stood in truth, and this is what happened. So, okay.
It was a blessing.
Yeah, it was, because I would have not liked being there because I seen how they were working. They push you, they don't pay you well. Oh, you got to get this out of this person. You got to push this. And it's like, no, it's not honest. I didn't want to be in that scenario. I would have been happy with my soul. You know what I mean?
No, I can totally see that you wouldn't be happy in a place like that.
Yeah.
So this was just an interesting session, shall we call it, because it was unexpected that Scott showed up, and it was wonderful. I want to thank everyone who popped in and shared a bunch of time with us and participated in the chat. I want to thank Jean for being here, and Jean will be back, so don't anyone worry. And I want to thank Scott for coming and for sharing with us, and for all of us collectively having this really, really interesting conversation. I pulled a card while you were talking, Scott, just to sort of finish it off for the day. So this is a postcard from Spirit. So this is this one, like literally like this, it sort of went and tipped over inside the deck. So here we go. I love it when that happens. Dearest you, we have a secret for you. The more you think you know, the less you actually do. So if you are willing to keep an open mind, you will avoid the narrow confines of the know-it-all and open up to the unlimited potential that can be discovered only by the curious optimist. Curiosity allows you to discover new things, see the world from a different perspective, and find answers to questions you might not even know you have. Right now, whatever is going on, it's important to know that you are not aware of all of the aspects. You need to make an informed choice. You might be projecting a story that isn't totally true. So moving forward, your mantra could be, I don't know, or that's interesting. As you keep your mind and heart open to new experiences and a richer existence overall. All of us over here want you to be all you can be. We are cheering for you. Can you hear us?
Wow, that's beautiful.
Awesome card.
That's beautiful. And I want to just say thank you to everybody in the chat, because you guys inspired this conversation. It was your energy and your input and your collaboration. We're just the faces. We're just the faces that are on the screen. It was all of our collaboration, and I just think that is so beautiful. We couldn't do it without your energy and without your love. So thanks, and thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Scott. I want to do this again. This was so magical for me. It was a really beautiful experience. And it was a little bit different, but I loved it. I felt the genuine, just the genuine discussion going on. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree. And you're coming back in a month, so it will happen again. So,
well, Scott's got to come too.
and we've just decided Scott's coming back.
We just decided. By the way.
I pulled 2 oracle cards quick,
okay.
And it kind of goes with the theme of the day, especially focused with Jan here. but everyone.
No regrets.
Regrets.
That's beautiful.
Second one,
You will get through this.
Beautiful.
those are the two that came up. I like to shuffle the deck and take top and bottom. So yeah, have no regrets. And if you stay in your truth, you'll get through it.
Absolutely. Well said, Scott. Well said.
And stay in love and light. Stay up. The best you can, stay up. And any kind of release is fine. You know, if you need a good cry, just do it. Release. Because that'll get rid of all the downtime and it can bring you back up when you're done. You know? And if you need to go in a bathroom and scream about the former guy or an ex-husband or whatever it is, just do it. Release.
Yeah.
But then come back up.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing better than a big cry. It really is. It's a release of emotions, a release of fears, and it's like, okay, I'm done. Now how do I move on?
I used to walk, and that sounded really weird. I used to go walking, not I used to walk. I don't even know why I said that. But anyways, I used to go walking, and I went to a local school, and so I was walking around the field, like, you know, between the soccer goalpost and the baseball diamond and all that stuff. And releasing was difficult for me. Crying was difficult for me, right? I almost have like a fear of the floodgates opening. Jean's nodding her head because she knows. So I started talking. And I just talked to myself the whole entire way, out loud. And probably around the sixth lap, I was yelling to the top of my lungs. I am sure that thank God the school is in a remote area, because I'm sure someone would have been calling the authorities thinking someone had lost their ever loving mind. Because I was running around that field just like, and another thing, and and it was so, I don't even want to say it was cathartic, but it was like beneficial to me to be able to get that out, because I had a little bit of anger, right, that I was holding on to. And I wasn't even aware that I had some anger that I was holding on to. I just thought it was like raw emotions, but there was anger mixed in. And so that getting out in that park and walking really helped me. I mean, I was doing the exercise, but I was able to get my thoughts and my feelings out. And I'll tell you guys, that one experience, not to make anyone cry or feel bad for me, but I literally sat in my car for hours, fearful, because I was panicked that if I got out, something bad was going to happen. I was going to have a panic attack. No one would know where I was, whatever. It was so hot that day. And I just, after hours of sitting there, I was like, if I don't get out of this car, I'm going to have a heart attack. Like, I need to move. And I don't know what propelled me to do it, but I got out of the car. I started walking. On the second lap, I was so excited. I'm videotaping it and sending a link to my husband going, look at me, look at what I'm doing. And he was like, oh my God, you're moving. Like, you're out of the car. This is fabulous. 4 laps in, I'm like, and another thing. And I was like, I mean, you could have heard. I got in the car and I literally felt like I had been to a spa for a weekend. I felt so good in so many different ways. I couldn't even tell you. I felt empowered. I felt lifted up. I felt 5 pounds lighter. I felt stronger. I felt like lighter somehow. Like I wasn't as heavy as I was when I started. And I literally did that for 2 years without fail every single day.
Wow.
So that is really, really important if you can allow it to come out of.
Yeah. My ears are ringing.
I can see that. Your head was coming
badly, because I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a sign that you were finally getting the message.
Yeah.
To do it. To get out. And also the connection with Earth to help ground you.
Yes.
Walking on that pavement, being in the grass. Let the earth take it. There's a ton of energy there.
I haven't been outside in a really long time, and I need to start doing that again. But now we actually can see pavement now. So this is a good thing. Just snow here like the other day. So we're finally coming down to like normal, like 10 or 15 degrees. So this is good. Not below zero, of course. Well, we just had like a whole freezing rainstorm like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. It's like sheet of ice everywhere here.
Yeah, that ain't fun.
I lived in Alaska. Crazy. Anyways, friends, thank you very much for being here. Everyone in the chat, Scott, Jean, thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, honestly, I'm like filled up. My bucket is really, really full right now. And I really don't know what else to say other than I appreciate you both. I love you both. And I love you guys in the chat. Don't ever stop doing what you're doing. Remember, just saying hi to someone can literally save their day. So please
Definitely
continue to do what you do because you're phenomenal. And until we see you again, you're welcome, my love. You are welcome. Many blessings to everybody. Mwah. We will see you later.
bless you, Lauren.